As we record this, it is the day the new trailer for Godzilla vs. Kong comes out. But there is necessary viewing for that film, including Kong Skull Island, the two preceding Godzilla movies, and of course, the long forgotten but incredibly necessary prequel, Captain Simian and the Space Monkeys, which covers their mutation and transformation of various apes and their undying quest for bananas. Of course, I made that up. That was the trailer was fresh on my mind. That's nonsense. That being said, this show is long forgotten to the point that we couldn't find an upload that wasn't seemingly recorded on a toaster.
Yes, unfortunately, no good quality copy of this show appears to exist, nor DVD release. So we were forced to look. Well, we always look on YouTube. I don't know. We weren't forced to look on YouTube. That's what we do by default. But the copies on YouTube of this were not great. I think the one we watched was like a French visual, and someone had put an English audio to it and made the best quality copy available, which was passable. It would have been nice to see it in its full glory, though, because the animation is actually pretty nice.
It's pretty nice. It's an okay show. It's pretty cute.
It is. I enjoyed this. I used to watch this back at the time that it was actually on TV. And I remember bits and pieces of it.
That's hey.
But wasn't sure how it would hold up. And I think it holds up pretty well. Out of our animal subculture shows that we have watched so far, I think maybe this is the most consistent in tone.
Definitely. But what I also like is that it doesn't feel like all those others. Like it has a very distinct, I guess, vibe, just like visually and overall. Like it feels a little more like the character. Like I feel like with Street Sharks and even kind of Move Mesa, the characters are lean a lot into the human aspect, and they're like hyper detailed and a tiny bit gross. Whereas these stick to just a very cartoony style that I think really behooves them.
Yeah, it reminded me of like I could have easily seen this being a Disney show. Like
Totally.
It's kind of Gargoyles-esque in their designs and their like the creativity of the characters, I think.
And it probably doesn't hurt that it has a lot of the cast of Gargoyles.
Yes. A very good cast. Malcolm McDowell, of all people.
He's great. I love that character. He plays Rhesus, not to be confused with the peanut butter candy, who is a robot ape who removes his brain consistently and shifts it with other brains to tactically change his strategy in the midst of confrontation.
Yes, which is a very fun concept for your villain henchman, I think.
Absolutely.
Lots of like gross brain animations as well.
It's gross. I think one of the first things he does is he like fails the bigger bad, the Michael Dorn bigger bad. He's just like, this brain has failed me. And he pulls it out of his middle cranium, pulls out a laser pistol, and shoots it in his own hand.
Yeah.
The force field holds, Lord Nebula.
For now, Rhesus 2, but I shall not be denied. I have not come this far in my evolution to be stopped by mere technology.
The Tachyon missiles are not sufficient, Lord. My brain has failed you. Bad brain! Bad brain!
When I plucked thee from my capsule and improved thee, it was not for whining excuses for failure, Rhesus 2. Remember, there was a Rhesus 1. Once.
This new brain shall serve you well. Yes. Yes! The universe shall be yours, Lord Nebula.
I expect nothing less.
We should probably explain we should explain something about the origin of the show, although the show explains it very well. Like with a very extended flashback sequence right at the start. And this is Captain Simian himself is an ape that was shot into space, and his craft was like sucked miles and miles into possibly the future or another galaxy or something. And he was forcibly evolved by some aliens and gained hyper intelligence. And then he summons different apes, also from Earth, to help him in his quest to stop Lord Nebula, who wishes to become a black hole. He wants the what is it? I keep wanting to say the anti-life equation, but that's dark side.
It escapes me as well, but it's something to that effect.
Yeah, a simple concept, and actually very well set up in these. We only watched the opening 2 episodes, but it sets you up very nicely for the series, I think. Everyone is kind of like well defined within these episodes, and you know what the series is going to be.
I also want to point out the aliens that mutated Captain Simian are called the. They say that their alien race name can't be even comprehended by like traditional minds and mouths. So whenever they mention their title or their name, it's just a gap in their speaking.
Yeah, which I thought was quite a funny joke, particularly Captain Simian's reaction to it with the some actually like genuinely funny one-liners in this show.
Oh, totally.
Like it must make it difficult to get a dinner reservation. And then when the aliens are leaving later on, they're like, call us if you need anything. And he's like, call you what? And they disappear.
I think there's some Animaniacs alumni in the staff for this, which lends itself really well to just that very dry wit. If I recall correctly, I think that's the case.
That would make sense. It's one of the few shows we've watched where the humor is actually like genuinely quite funny. Like they're not trying too hard to be funny, and they're not just doing stupid jokes. It's actually like genuine wit behind it.
And there's like small, like they don't beat you over the head with their references, but I think Captain Simian's supposed to be kind of William Shatner-esque. Is that correct?
He seemed that way, yeah. Like a cross between William Shatner and Flash Gordon.
I could, yeah.
Does this wormhole work both ways? I mean, can this get me home?
Certainly. But then the universe would end in slightly over 9 minutes, making it a very poignant but brief visit.
Well, then let's do this ASAP before I'm just so much monkey meat.
Then there's his team. There's a spider monkey simply called Spider, and he's the goofy one. Shaolin is a monkey who is praised as a deity in Asia. There's Splits, who is an orangutan with dissociative personality disorder, and Gorilla, who speaks for himself.
Yes, Gorilla, voiced by James Avery.
Oh, God rest his soul.
Yeah, I was happy to see him show up. I was like, oh, I recognize that voice. Oh, it's James Avery.
I feel like he's almost a tiny bit wasted on such a like soft-spoken character, because I normally associate him with being very grandiloquent and, Shredder and Uncle Phil, just very well spoken. But I think for what it's worth, that's still a pretty fun choice to pick.
Yeah, it's nice to see him in a different sort of role, because he is usually like villains who are absolutely done with everybody else is usually James Avery's casting.
Totally.
So it's kind of fun.
Oh, yeah.
Like the big dumb ape with the heart of gold type thing that he is.
Yeah.
This is my crew. Now it's time to smarten them up. I wonder what their reactions will be.
Hey, who do you have to know around here to get a banana?
You have hunger. You will feed us a banana immediately.
I require sustenance. Rich, pulpy yellow fruit of the Museke plant, of the Inceit variety, be preferable. Now I'd rather have a banana. That is a banana.
I want a banana.
Now!
Yeah. I was not crazy about Spider. I think that's my one thing. He got to grate on me a bit.
They were trying very hard to give him all the jokes, I think, weren't they?
Yeah, I kind of wanted him to shut up.
I thought Dr. Splits was the best character.
He's great.
I missed the explanation for why he had 2 personalities, and I thought that was just a bit he was doing. So I was like, why is he doing that accent? But yeah, he goes into a Texan voice he'll give like a really sort of grandiloquent explanation of some sort of scientific thing that's going on, and then he'll switch back into his Texan accent, which I thought was quite funny. I was like, oh, that's an interesting concept.
I like, and it's Maurice LaMarche doing him, so it's kind of the two ends of the spectrum of his performances.
Yeah.
Apparently, it is a graviluminous, orbifolding positron generator. Or glop for short.
Beautiful. The guy is destroying the universe to get glop? That's the craziest thing I ever heard.
This old man, he played water, he played knick-knack on my song.
I take it back. That's the craziest thing I ever heard.
Actually, it's quite helpful.
This old man, he played water.
1, 2, yes. A binary program. Drop generator online.
Very nice cast in this. We mentioned Michael Dorn earlier. I think Michael Dorn's really good as Lord Nebula.
Oh, totally.
I found it weird that Malcolm McDowell was the henchman and Michael Dorn was the main villain. Like, it feels like those two roles could possibly have been swapped around.
I'm willing to wager they maybe tried that and then was just like, hey, let's just try something else. And they kind of liked how it turned out. So I think this was the right call.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I think though I could easily see Michael Dorn portraying the brain shooting henchman and Malcolm McDowell being the big like Nebula ominous villain. But yeah, it works really well as it is. And it's weird that they even got Malcolm McDowell in the mid-90s when he was still like a very busy working actor. Not that he's not anymore, but he was like early 90s Malcolm McDowell was working very steadily in a lot of quite big films.
Yeah, he wasn't quite doing like Justice League yet. This was a little, maybe the precursor to that.
Yeah, I mean, he's one of those actors now that just does a lot of voice acting stuff, I guess, because he's gone to that age where it's just easy for him to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think this was just before he appeared in, just after he appeared in Star Trek Generations as the main villain.
Ooh.
And I think he did a couple of other things around this time that were quite big movies.
Maybe he wandered into the wrong sex. He knew he was looking for something in space.
Yeah.
So it must be the one.
Maybe Michael Dorn invited him.
Oh yeah, that would actually make a lot of sense.
Maybe that's what happened.
Yeah.
I'm doing a new show about space monkeys. Would you like to come along, Malcolm?
Do I get to remove my own brain and shoot it?
Yes.
we can work that in.
There's one of my favorite it is kind of a joke, but it's a very grisly one, where Lord Nebula goes, "Don't forget what happened to Rhesus 1," and the camera pans across to a pile of blood and bones with like an eyeball in there just on the floor.
I'm surprised they got away with that.
Yeah, it's horrifying.
Oh gosh, just a lot of grisly images. Another Rhesus 2 moment I like is a mind is a terrible thing to waste, as he was about to harvest their brains, their monkey brains.
He has the
brain stuff.
He has a lot of brain-related gags. I felt like it was the Crypt Keeper again, because he just keeps trying it with all these. Like even does a "Singing in the Rain" song when he's in his ship to "Singing in My Brains," I think the lyrics were.
Well. You're all very agile. For fleshopods.
Nobody calls me a fleshapod. Nobody ever. What's a fleshapod?
Intelligent apes. You must have very interesting brains.
Rhesus, we're all monkeys here. There's no reason for us to fight.
Since we are, as you say, related, I shall be merciful. Give me the anti-force, and I'll only destroy your bodies. A mind is a terrible thing to waste.
Definitely good writing. This one, I think. I said this slightly earlier. But of all the animal subculture ones, I think maybe this is the best written. It's got it balances out the humor and the general sort of seriousness of the show, which isn't very serious, together very well. I mean, it's certainly better than Street Sharks, which was awful. It was like Moo Mesa had its own sort of charm. Biker Mice from Mars, of course, we both enjoyed.
Oh yeah.
But I feel like it was just one of those shows where every episode is more or less the same.
Oh, totally, yeah.
Very formulaic. I feel like this is maybe a bit different and a bit more adventurous with its storytelling.
I agree. Maybe my opinion, maybe the best token female we've encountered, because I liked the arc they were kind of taking Shaolin on, that she's gonna have to learn to not be totally cold to everyone else, and that her being raised as a deity has maybe given her some baggage.
Yeah, that's an interesting concept to work in with your token female character. And we say token female because that's like every show we've watched just has one female character. I can't think of a show we've watched that has more than the one. Like
Moo Mesa had 2.
Oh yeah, Moo Mesa had a few more, didn't it?
That's about it, honestly.
I honestly can't think of any of the others that we've watched that had more than one.
Yeah, even even like Extreme Ghostbusters only had 1. I don't think Mighty Max had any, if you don't count the mom.
Oh yeah, it had Max's mom and Max's friend.
Neither
of whom were actually regular characters.
No.
No, there wasn't. There was none. There was no others.
Yeah.
Did Street Sharks even have one?
Street Sharks had the lady. It just made me think of her crowning moment of isn't that the doctor's watch? It's her. It's
I have to go. Yeah, that was wasn't it?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it is still the one token female, at least insofar as these 2 episodes we watched. But it kind of flip-flops because she is probably the most competent character on the show, even if she is kind of a jerk to everyone.
Yeah, we definitely seem to be entering the realm here of female token characters who are like very competent and set up as equals to the main hero, which I think prior to this perhaps wasn't as common. And you just had like they were in some random job, all the female characters. Just some standard, you were a journalist, you were a mechanic, like you stayed in your lane and you didn't get involved in anything else. You just helped from the sidelines.
I think there is 100% an alternate universe where the main cast of this show, instead of Shaolin, has like a human female astronaut who's like the point of view character.
I can easily see that.
Yeah, total. It reminds me. Not long ago, I watched it's a new show about the 3 Caballeros on Disney. It's the 3 Caballeros, and the character who frustrates me so much because she's like the goddess of adventure, and she's this twice their height, super hot Greek woman who has like no personality. And I'm like, come on, you could have invented a fun DuckTales goddess character. Why do you have to? You know what I'm going.
Yeah, there's that seems like very prevalent around this time, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it was like God bless April O'Neil, but like I think April O'Neil kind of started that, and kind of permeates from there.
Aren't you joining us, Captain?
Sorry, Goddess, I'd like to, but I've got a job to do.
But
No, you're going through that wormhole. Because if you don't, you'll regret it. Maybe not now, but soon. And for the rest of your life. Doesn't take much to see that the problems of 5 little monkeys.
I thought the bit where Dr. Splits is dragged through the portal and the kid gets dragged into his cage. For a second, I was thinking, oh, does that kid travel through space as well? Because he nearly goes through the portal. And for a second, I thought he was going to, and we were going to have a kid character. But no, he just gets locked in the cage. And so the kid comes and laughs at him. It's like, look at that stupid monkey in that cage.
I would have cried if we had another Harry Grimoire or what have you.
Yeah.
Not necessary. Even like a pretty neat show like Bucky O'Hare had that, I think.
Yeah, the kid in Bucky O'Hare is not that bad.
Okay.
Like of all the kid characters, I think he works the best, but you don't need him in the show. They try and make him part of the show in a way that I think works better, because he's not just constantly being kidnapped and he's in trouble and he does stupid things. Like, he's just part of the crew. They're like, well, we've got this rabbit and we've got a human here and we've got this guy. And that kind of works. So yeah, I'm glad they didn't bring that kid or any other humans into this. I think the charm is in the monkeys.
I don't know why that gets me. The charm is in the monkeys. Raves critics.
Well, no, the proof is in the pudding and the charm is in the monkeys.
The monkeys. I do agree though. Monkeys are neat animals. I love when it's like you get a chance to just do some monkey stuff, like in the intro when they're wielding space rifles with their feet, and I'm like, they're doing a monkey thing.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah, he grabs the like the joystick of his ship with his feet and his hands as well, and I was like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
nice when they actually use the animals in an organic way within the series. Which Street Sharks definitely did not.
I was gonna say, are you insinuating that biting through concrete isn't an intuitive way to incorporate sharks into your cartoon?
Street Sharks really did nothing with the fact that they were sharks, did it? I cannot recall a single thing. I mean, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is kind of guilty of that as well, because turtles don't eat pizza and they don't live in sewers. But at least they were, I don't know, that was like, it was out there and they made that into a joke. Like, if you're going to do an animal subculture series, like Ninja Turtles, monkeys in space, cowboy cows, you need to make it funny because it's absurd. And this show definitely does that, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles does that. Street Sharks did not do that. Street Sharks was not funny. It did not have any jokes, and it needed thousands of them because it was ridiculous.
Oh, you mean to tell me no one ever like accidentally drew blood and sent one of the sharks into like a thirsted rage? Like, turn a character into an amputee.
I mean, this is like the anti-Street Sharks in many ways, I think.
In that it's good.
In that it's good, yes. And that they actually like well-defined characters and actual like jokes and writing and animation. All the things Street Sharks did not have, this does. And it was so refreshing after some of the stuff that we've watched before, just to sit down and be like, oh, this is solid. I have no complaints about this.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think that pretty much sums it up. The only thing keeping me from recommending it is that there aren't any copies uploaded not by unregistered Hypercam 12 run through 5 layers of deep fry.
Yes, unfortunately so. I hope someone does have like a good copy of it somewhere that maybe they can find and restore, like the guy who did those Mighty Max restorations.
Oh, that'd be great.
Because I would love to see this animation in like fully restored, nice quality, because I think it deserves it. It's very, very well done.
Absolutely, yeah.
But yeah, I'd recommend watching it. Certainly those first 2 episodes are a very fun little duology.
All right, well, I guess that brings a close to that one. Are we rather calm ending, but I think we need it.
I don't even have
before
a parody.
The storm.
Would you recommend it to such and such a character? I think we can just agree this was solid.
Oh yeah, totally. Just a very pleasant nod and tip of the hat to Captain Simian.
Yeah. So listeners, viewers, the episode we plan to record after this is Mutant League.
Oh boy.
Ooh. And let us cherish these final moments of peace, for Mutant League has returned to have its vengeance.